It's good to see you again. It's been so long since you've been here. You had me thinking.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I thank you for being there with us in Unity 93.3 FM this lovely Thursday morning, the 5th of October 2023. We apologize for starting the program a bit behind schedules this morning. This is because of unforeseen technical hitch, but glory be to God, we have gotten over it, and so transmission begins even right now. And so I thank you for joining us. Beatrice Adamuiji remains my name, the anchor of the program this beautiful morning. Before I introduce the very one who is in the studio with me to take lead of things that we have on this segment, I would love to appreciate the fact that I was a witness. I witnessed the occasion yesterday, second of taking an induction ceremony in the University of Jos yesterday, and then we have doctors now, not doctors in the making, but doctors in the business. Congratulations to you, doctors. Okay, at this point in time, let me just introduce the very man with whom we'll be doing this together. Is Mr. Shaibu Doro, in-house analyst and a political scientist. Good morning, Mr. Doro.
Thank you, Kobe. Good morning, viewer. Good morning, listener. It's a pleasure being here once again. And Kobe, before we proceed further,
yes,
I'd like to say this. We have always said that at the end of the day, everything we do is for the benefit of all of us, and we are open-minded to criticisms, observations, and things like that. Somebody who is one of our ardent listeners and, of course, viewers actually made a certain observation, which I think is quite in place, through one of our senior colleagues within the House, talking about extravagant malobby. He reached out to me this morning to convey the person's observation, and I would like to say that we are grateful for such observations. So those are the sorts of things that keep us going. I don't have to mention what specifically the observation is, but the needful will actually be done. The necessary correction will be made by the grace of God. Whoever he is, we are grateful to him for such an observation. I also have this announcement here, could be that has to do with one of our in-house programs.
Yes.
The Igbo Profile program, one of our very popular in-house programs, by the name Ojemba, normally presented by Extravagant Malobi, one of our in-house senior colleagues, has been rescheduled for 3:30 p.m. It has been rescheduled from 3:30 p.m. to 4:30 p.m. every Thursdays on Unity 93.3 FM, and the adjustment actually takes effect today. So those who it's an Igbo-based program, and so our listeners of the program can actually access the program between the hours of 3:30 to 4:30 p.m. 4:30 p.m. to 5:30 p.m. every Thursdays, beginning from today. It's no longer 3:30 p.m. as it used to be. This is what we want listeners of the program to take note of.
Okay, our listener and our viewer, okay, don't you ever skip stages, because life has a way of bringing back the very stage that you skipped. I got this yesterday from Professor Poveno H. Bamayi during the taking yesterday in University of Jos. And so let's begin.
Yes,
Mr. Shuaibu. Okay, so we have this one very, very quickly. I think today will not give so much time on
definitely.
We'll find a way of still getting things done. Okay, this one says CSU depositions authenticates Tinubu's certificate. It has to do with the Tinubu's certificate saga, and
yes,
today we are having reactions from other end, and so
the issue has popped up again, Kobe, and I think it's not bad to comment a little more on it, because it's actually a very topical issue, especially as it has to do with our president. This is it. And of course, apparently this morning I do understand that former Vice President Atiku Abubakar will be doing a press conference, a world press conference this morning, where he intends to address some of the issues, matters arising from the certificate saga and things like that. It remains to be seen what he will eventually have to say on that. But of course, like we did mention yesterday, Atiku Abubakar is alleging certificate forgery on the part of President Tinubu. Specifically, he is of the view that the certificate that President Tinubu had submitted to INEC in the build-up to the 2023 presidential election was actually fake. And he's gone to great length to want to prove that and all of that. Recently, like we established yesterday, Federal Judge Nancy Maldorado of a district court in Illinois, United States, actually ordered the management of the Chicago State University to release Tinubu's academic records to Atiku Abubakar to enable him proceed with his legal processes and things like that. That has already been done, and Atiku Abubakar and his legal team are trying to make Nigerians believe that they have been able to discover discrepancies, irreconcilable differences on the on relevant details on the certificate, and that is what they feel they are going to latch onto to be able to pursue their case at the Supreme Court and all of that. Specifically, Atiku Abubakar and his legal team are alleging that the certificate that Tinubu had presented to INEC before the election actually suggests that Tinubu was actually born on the 29th of March 1952, but the one released lately by the CSU seems to suggest that Tinubu was born on the 29th of March 1954. That's number one. And then number two, according to Atiku and his legal team, President Tinubu claims that the certificate he was given in 1979 by the Chicago State University was actually signed by Neva Lubin and, of course, Elnora Daniel, who were actually non-academic staff in the university in 1979. But, of course, according to Atiku, recent reports, seem to indicate that these two ladies were not even under the employ of the university as at that time. These are some of the issues. And then, of course, they also allege that there are discrepancies even in the gender, and things like that. So these are the issues around which the allegation or the, whole saga is actually built. But it remains to be seen what eventually comes out of that. Like I did mention yesterday, I think what we have seen over time, even as a precedent, is a situation where the court has conventionally rejected a situation where they have to admit or accept new materials which hitherto were not argued in the court of first instance. Now we do know that the issue of forgery was not one of the issues argued by Atiku in the presidential election petition tribunal. So it remains to be seen if the law will actually give Atiku any leeway to bring in or introduce any new material into his, Supreme Court issues. Because at the end of the day, I think we actually have to work on the basis of precedences and things like that. Okay. So what lawyers are actually saying is that Atiku will have a serious illegal hurdle to cross, because it is not going to be easy for the Supreme Court to accept, something that was not, or did not constitute a ground for argument in previous hearings and things like that. In a summary, this is what we have at the moment. Let's hear what Atiku has to say in his World Press Conference, and then let's also see what the presidency will have to say in defense of President Tinubu. But I think to round up on this could be the issue of certificate forgery is something that we need to take very seriously in this country, because we cannot say categorically that Tinubu is or is not guilty of this allegation and all of that. It's not within our jurisdiction to do that, but we also do know that in the past there have been such issues, right? I do remember that in 2020 a certain gubernatorial candidate who eventually won a gubernatorial election in Bayelsa State was eventually sacked as a result of issues of alleged certificate forgery by his running mate. This is the issue. Kemi Adeosun, who had a stint as Minister of Finance under Buhari, also had, her case was not forgery, but I think there was some carelessness at some point on her part and things like that, as a result of which she eventually had to quit the stage and all of that. And then, of course, even immediate past President Muhammadu Buhari also came under fire as a result of same or similar issues of alleged certificate forgery, although in his case it was allegation of non-availability of secondary school certificate and things like that. He eventually was able to find a way around the issue, but I think it's becoming a recurring decimal as far as the political space in Nigeria is concerned. I think young people have a lesson to learn from this. If you are in school, make sure you behave yourself properly, and make sure you don't leave any stone unturned, because sometimes we get so careless and then eventually skip or refuse to do certain things, only to discover at the end of the day that we've done ourselves a lot of harm.
Yes, like I've said earlier, don't skip stages, because life has a way of bringing back the very...
You just said that. Definitely.
Definitely. Yes, and so let's do the needful. But of course, if this was a topic to discuss, we would look also at the issues that has to do with the system doesn't help ones to graduate at the time that he or she would expect.
I just read...
it's even causing some of...
you're very right,
and so, but it's not a topic for us to just go in depth. Maybe some other time.
Yeah, some other time, yeah.
But we have this on the Vanguard. It says a court martial declares Major General guilty of $1.476 theft.
$1.476 million theft.
Yes,
that's a lot of money, isn't it? It's over $1 billion if you go by today's exchange rate and things like that. Now, I think first of all, let me say that that's very heartwarming, isn't it?
Yes.
You know, could be. There has been this particular, let's say, notion among a vast majority of Nigerians that the corruption that has allegedly infested the military or let's just even say the defense sector as a whole is something that cannot actually be checkmated. Apparently, because according to citizens, it's not possible to even attempt to do that, because there are people who are above the law and things like, probably by virtue of certain privileged positions they occupy and things like. In fact, majority of Nigerians feel that if a military, especially a high military or high-ranking military officer, is guilty of any misdemeanor, such a person is not likely to be brought to book or to be brought to justice, because according to Nigerians, such person might just be above the law and things like that. And I think when citizens actually allege such things, they might have a reason, because over time, I don't think we have had many such precedences. I've hardly seen a situation where a high-ranking military officer was found guilty of something and then was eventually subjected to appropriate punishment and things like that. And I think that when we allege issues of high-scale corruption within the military, within the police and all of that, I think we might not be out of place. We might not be far from the truth, could be, because there have been such allegations here and there and all of that. And we have always said that it's something that needs to be looked at. This is the issue. Now let's come back to this particular issue. A special court martial set up by the Nigerian Army has found the group managing director and executive vice chairman of the Nigerian Army Properties Limited, Major General Umar Mohammed, guilty of 14 out of 18 count charges. In other words, there are about 18 count charges against Major General Mohammed Umar, and out of that he's been found guilty of 14 out of them. So it remains to be seen what the court martial will actually do about this. Of course, specifically the issues at stake are issues of stealing, forgery, conspiracy, theft, and of course unauthorized diversion of army property. This is the issue, and I think it's been possible for this particular person to probably perpetrate a corruption of this magnitude because of his access to some of the properties belonging to the Nigerian Army, and all of that. So it actually remains to be seen. Some of the issues he's being accused of are issues of like I said, unauthorized diversion of army property, and then there's the issue of $1,004,000 to $5,400 paid by shipping companies for the use of Nigerian Army jetty. I think what this means is that a certain jet belonging to the Nigerian Army was actually illegally utilized by some shipping companies with the consent or permission of this particular person who ordinarily should be in charge of protecting those properties. And then he's also been found guilty of withdrawing and confiscating the sum of 74 out of the 75 million naira paid for a property belonging to Nigerian Army in Akwai in Lagos State. The contentious issues at the moment are what I've just read out. But then, like I did say, I think the fact that some of these issues are actually being brought to the public, a domain, I think is really heartwarming, because I think at the end of the day, we need to have a society that is actually egalitarian. We need to have a society where justice is seen to be dispensed, regardless of whose ox is actually God. This is the issue. And so when people are found guilty of certain misdemeanors, especially things that will seem to compromise national security and by extension the well-being of citizens, I think those are issues that should not actually be swept under the carpet. This is the issue. And I think, like I said earlier, there is a need to do something about the large-scale corruption that seems to have infested especially the security agencies in the country, and the Nigerian Army is not an exception. This is the issue. Now, if these high-profile corruption, high-profile corrupt practices had not actually been discovered by the Nigerian Army court-martial, I don't know what will be happening. And then on daily basis, we see high-ranking military officers, living lavish lifestyles and things like that. And I think the damage or the harm that is doing is the fact that any young Nigerian who wants to join the army might actually be thinking that, look, the Nigerian army now is actually a paradise, isn't it? Because he or she might have seen the lavish lifestyle that, some military officers are living and things like that. And if you were to assess that vis-a-vis their official salaries and allowances, you discover that ordinarily such a lifestyle is not sustainable. This is the issue. And so I think it's a good thing that some of these things are coming up. And we hope that eventually, the needful will actually be done to serve as a deterrent to, other people who might be considering similar misdemeanors.
All right, thank you, Mr. Doro, for taking us on this. If time would permit us, we will just talk about Mohbad, court remands Naira Marley and Sam Larry and others, but I don't think we have time for this.
Apparently.
Yeah, so thank you very much. Our listener and our viewer now, it's 8:30, and we'll go on a very short break. We'll be coming back. I beg that you stay tuned. Thank you.
Mr. Politician, it's good to see you again. It's been so long since you've been here. You had me thinking you were dead. How's your taxpayer mansion? How was your...
Please pay attention. It starts from the foundation. Everybody needs somebody. You turn a blind eye and care nothing less. Say it's just business, all about the money. You are so unbothered as long as they pay. Say it's just business, all about the money. You know they're on a fast lane, but you've got business to run. So you look away the other way.
It concerns you. It a kill law, it a kill dreams. It a land people for jail. War against drug abuse.
Are you bored and need some company? Get a TV experience like no other on Unity TV. We are turning up the hits with captivating TV shows,
Mr. Politician, it's good to see you again. It's been so long since you've been here. You had me thinking you were dead. How's your taxpayer mansion? Mr. Politician, it's good to see you again. It's been so long since you've been here. You had me thinking you were dead. How's your taxpayer man, Mr. Politician?
To Unity 93.3 FM, we're reaching you live from the city of Jos. Let's be specific, from the hills of ZINARIYA here in Jos City, Plateau State, Nigeria, the home of peace and tourism, and this is Unity Train. Beatrice Adamo AG is my name, your uncle. Unity Train this lovely Thursday morning, the 5th of October 2023. In the studio this morning, I'm so happy because I have one who is able to call white when it's white, and when it's black, he boldly says is black. I am talking about Justice, let me say comrade, Justice Chinge Dodo. He's a public affairs analyst. Of course, he teaches, he lectures with political science department in police academy with deal in Kano State here in Nigeria. He is in the studio, like I told you. He's that one bold person who would say it just the way it is. Good morning, sir.
Morning, Colby. Good morning, listeners and viewers. Good morning, Nigerians. It's nice to be here.
And of course, you may be wondering, to have such a bold individual in the studio, what is it we are to be talking about? What we'll be talking about is not far from fact. It's that same thing that you know. But today, let's give it as a tease from my guest. It has to do with Nigeria at 63. Nigeria at 63. The democratic journey so far. Let's just give it to Justice Chinge Dodo, and then we begin the discussion there. But before we do, I would want to plead with my listener and, of course, my viewer that the popular Igbo program, mostly on Thursdays, earlier announced to be on it's 3:30 p.m. to 4:30 p.m., not 4:30 p.m. to 5:30 p.m. as earlier announced on Unity Train. So please, I beg that you take note of that. And so let's begin our discussion at this point in time. Comrade, Mr. and Justice Chinge Dodo. Sir, democratic journey of this wonderful country. What is your assessment to it?
Well, thank you so much once again. Good morning, viewers and listeners, anywhere you may be at this moment in time. Nigeria, as we are all aware, became an independent entity on the 1st of October 1960, amidst high hopes and expectations, because Nigeria then was indeed a potential, or had the potential to become a giant globally, not just in Africa. And along the way, so many things happened, ranging from the good to the bad and the ugly. And as a nation, at 63, we have been hoping, one would have thought that at this moment we are more advanced, more record of progress have been achieved. Politically, we should be more matured. Educationally, we should have been more advanced, and so many other sectors of human endeavor. Agriculturally, we would have been expecting to see a lot of advancement in terms of our agricultural practices, moving from subsistent farming to mechanized farming, because indeed, like I said, Nigeria has all the potentials to become a great nation. We are an envy of most countries of the world, because what we have, such countries do not have. But unfortunately, Nigeria seems to be just the headquarters of natural and human resources, where such resources are not converted into the benefit of all. Nigeria is indeed independent, but are Nigerians themselves willing to be independent? What we have achieved is political independence from our colonial masters or our colonizers. But at the moment, there seems to be a long way to travel. We have traveled this far, and there's still a long way to travel. The expectations are high. I will not say hope is lost, because we are still an entity. We still have that independence in our hands, and what is left is for us to use it for the good of all Nigerians. And this is what I think so far I can say about Nigeria's democratic journey since independence. Along the way, we have had series of military interregnum, where military interfered in our body polity, and which is bad for any democratic experiment, because democracy is a practice. Democracy is what you choose to do, is a process. And then there is no particular point where you say you are an Eldorado, because there are always room to improve on a democratic journey. And so far we have started, but to me, I think the whole process is slow, because in Nigeria today, democracy has been reduced to mere elections. Whether the elections are free, fair, and credible, nobody cares. So we still have a long way to go politically, economically, educationally, scientifically, technologically, and even culturally.
Okay. Mr. Justice Sinyedodo, I'm so excited and interested hearing you mention that, we are an envy of the world because of what we have, the things we have, other nations don't have it. Don't you think this is the more reason why our democracy, could be jeopardized?
Yeah, sure, because where one is blessed with so many abundant talent and resources, and it is not being utilized. Any practice that is anti-democratic is an invitation to chaos, it is an invitation to lawlessness, it is an invitation to underdevelopment, it is an invitation to hopelessness. Man lives on hope. The moment hope is gone, the entirety of human existence is almost gone. So democracy, like we all know, is something that is supposed to bring food to the tables of the ordinary man, supposed to bring hope, is supposed to give direction to people. But where these practices are not adhered to, it becomes a big challenge, and then those challenges, the effects of those challenges, when put into practice, is capable of turning back the hands of time, because human beings are supposed to be seen to be progressing. They are supposed to be progressing. You live from one challenge, you achieve, and then you meet the next challenge. That is how life is supposed to be.
All right, Justice. Some individuals blame the delay to get to such a maturity in our democratic journey as a nation. Some blame it to individual, and some say it's the system. What is your take, sir?
There is both. It is both individualistic and systemic problems. Individualistic is in the sense that our attitude, our mentality, our approach to national issues and issues of national importance is leaving less to be desired of typical Nigerians. Nigerians are so good when they travel abroad, but when we are back home, we misbehave, we break the law, we do a lot of terrible things that ordinarily when we travel out we are ashamed of doing. But here we are proud to say. And then it is systemic in the sense that when rules are set and then when particular guidelines are given, people don't even care to obey it. And then sometimes rules are built on fault. Then there are fault lines along when you discover, when you go deep into laws, when you go deep into rules and regulations, and then when the laws are weak, when the system is not established on the basis of truth, fairness, equity, and justice, and you see, you could say that indeed there are systemic problems in such an arrangement. And so, to me, Nigeria's challenges are both individualistic and systemic. And like I said, systemic in the sense that sometimes you establish a system that is difficult to practice, you establish a system that is almost a mere impossibility, and then coming to individuals, our attitude, our psyche, and the manner in which we approach issues, especially when it comes to public matters, public concerns, it's a big challenge to us as a Nigerians. And unfortunately, we go out there and we behave, we obey the law, we do things right. When we are here, we feel we are back to where the headquarters of lawlessness. So.
Okay, Justice, thank you so much for your submission already. Now, I want you to give it to us. What would you think, or what do you think, rather, are the challenges that we are facing as a country at the moment? To me, if you would ask me, I was already thinking of a situation where you have Nigerians who, in virtually every celebrations, we pop champagnes. This is one thing we don't produce in the country. And we do a lot of things like that. We live a very expensive life. If you ask me, I would just want to go this line. But of course, you're a great man, and you have been there to watch how things happen and, of course, make your own contribution. So what do you think is a challenge at the moment?
Well, you just said I'm a great man. I don't know how great I am. All I know, I'm a human being that requests and needs the best of life, just like any other Nigerian. Talking about Nigeria's challenges, I want to tell you that the challenges in this country are as vast and as many as the country itself. When you look at sectors of human endeavor, which sector would you say we are doing better, we are doing well, and how well are we doing? You pick the educational sector, for instance. How well is Nigeria faring? Education is supposed to transform and translate into meaningful development. We have so many universities from the state level to federal government, and then there are individuals who own private university. How well has this product that have been turned on annual basis contributed meaningfully to national development? We have universities that have faculties of engineering and so many other faculties that has to do with science and technology. In what way is technology really booming in Nigeria? So educationally, that is how you can look at it, that can we really stand tall and say, yes, indeed, we are doing well in educationally? And then politically, what is our level of political consciousness, our level of political maturity, our level of political culture and socialization? Is it matured? We are a situation where in this 21st century, people still snatch ballot papers. Elections are rigged secretly and openly, and then judgments are delivered, and even ordinary people who are not so acquainted with law,
the workings of the court,
the workings of the court, who trace justice is delayed, and like the saying goes, when justice is delayed, it is seen to be denied, because justice works with time. Because justice is supposed to be about distribution, justice is supposed to be about equity, justice is supposed to be about human value and human life, and then human rights. So you look at it from the angle of politics, you discover that we still have challenges. And then you pick economy, for instance. We're still having a monocultural economy where our major source of income is the petrol. So if you look at it, despite the abundance of natural resources, the abundance of land, Nigerians are very, very intelligent and smart. Yet we still have a long way to go when it comes to that sector too. Economically, we are not tapping, we are not really making use of what nature has bestowed on this country. And part of it possibly is because somewhere in Nigeria there is oil that people sit in their local communities, revenue are shared, they don't even know how this money is made. What happens to even our tax system? What happens to our internally generated non-oil revenue, let me put it like that? What happens to it? In what way are we really working hard to see that other sources of revenue are tapped? And even when these revenue are tapped, is it really put to use for the good of the common man? Is there justice in terms of sharing of resources, in terms of what goes to the common man, what goes to everybody? And so you look at it holistically and then economically, we have a big challenge. And then when it comes to national values, patriotism, these are really ingredients that make a nation a great nation. When people are patriotic, when citizens pay tax, when they obey the law, when they do what they're supposed to do at the time they're supposed to do it, it is also a card, it is also a tool that can also further development. So in what way are Nigerians really working hard to see that the tools of patriotism, the tools of upholding the virtues, the values, the core values of this country are respected? So you look at how holistically, my brother, we still have a long way to go in the educational sector, in economy, in politics, scientifically, so many other issues. I think in all aspects of human endeavor, we still have so many challenges, but the good news is that those challenges are surmountable.
All right. Well, the good news is that those challenges are surmountable. And now, you mentioned something, and I'm so interested in that. when you establish that citizens also have their role to play to make this democracy of a thing come to a position where everybody seems to benefit from it. So would you want to say some more about the role in which myself and every other citizen should play in order to make it work?
Yeah. Once you are a citizen, you see, government is a contract, and then the officials in the government are the trustees. We engage, we go into contract, they call it social contract theory, that you surrender certain things to the government so that the government, or to the state, so that the state in turn will provide also certain things for you. So as a citizen of any nation, not just Nigeria, there are so many expectations that before you talk about your rights, you also have to also look at your duties and responsibilities. For instance, as a Nigerian, you are expected to pay tax. For instance, you are expected to obey the law. As a Nigerian, you obey the law. When the traffic say you stop, you stop. If the traffic say you go, you go. And then as a Nigerian, too, you are supposed to also report criminals. You are supposed to report people that goes about breaking the law. You are supposed to be patriotic to the extent that you alert security whenever you see something like they say. Whenever you see something, say something. So in what way are Nigerians that patriotic to report suspicious movements, suspicious activities of criminal elements in the society? Like they say, security is a collective responsibility. So if you see that which is wrong as a citizen, you are expected to report. And then also, I have talked about issues of tax. I have talked about the issue of obeying the law. So there are so many that as a citizen. So what you do, former Ghanaian president once asked Ghanaians to ask not for what their countries will do for them, but what they will do for the country.
For the country, yes.
So in as much as you are celebrating Nigeria, in as much as you believe in the country, your beliefs, your celebrations, your hope should also be seen in the kind of support. It should also be seen in the kind of loyalty, patriotism that you are dashing out to the country. That is your contribution as a citizen. But how well are Nigerians doing this? It's another issue.
Okay, looking at the drivers of our democracy at the moment and how far they have taken us up to this stage, do you think one should be optimistic that anytime soon it will mature to an extent that we would all be happy and we give it all?
Yeah, the day a human being loses hope, then that is the end. So far, the practice, the workings of democracy in Nigeria has been too slow for my liking. I think personally that is my belief. Democracy has been, I said this earlier on in the course of this program, that democracy has been reduced to mere elections, and nobody cares whether those elections are won freely and fairly, whether those elections are executed or are done on the basis of the rule of the law or the rules that governs such elections. And I think that is one aspect that we really need to look at it deeply and critically. How independent is the electoral umpire, the INEC, or the Nigeria's electoral umpire so far in its history? I think what is the relationship, the economic value of democracy in terms of the voter versus the voted status? What I mean here is that I think our democracy is too expensive. What is it that the senator of the Federal Republic is doing that a member of House of Representatives cannot do? If we do not have a senator, or if we do not have a member of the House of Reps, will Nigeria's democracy be in danger? For instance, what I mean is this bicameral legislature that we are practicing, a situation where two people represent two different institutions, though under one institution, because we have a National Assembly, that is the lawmaking organ of Nigeria.
Yes.
Where you have senators and you have members of the House of Representatives. If we decide, for instance, let's save cost or let's avoid repetition or duplication of duties, let's only have senators, or for instance, let's only have members of the House of Representatives. Will Nigeria's democracy be in danger? think it's a question
These
that an
are
ordinary
issues,
citizen that can answer. And then, of course, what about the economic value of this democratic system? How much is a professor, for instance, in Nigeria earning?
How much is
These
a
are
professor
producers of knowledge. These are people who make sure that human capital development is ensured through training and retraining of students at undergraduate level, at graduate levels. And so how much does a senator earn? How much does a member of House of Representatives earn? And then you look at it, you are told that when you're going to the university, you need to have 5 credits. Is that also applicable to somebody that is aspiring to go to House of Reps? Is that also applicable to someone that aspires to go to the House of Senate, for instance? So, so many issues. So to me, we have to look at this democracy and then review it. Nigerians will have to begin to look at it critically. You line up, you queue up on a day of elections, and at the end of the day, people you vote in become masters. They become lords. They become demagogues. They become too powerful for you to even access, and yet we say they are our representative. So what does it mean to represent an individual? To me, it means standing in for you, speaking for you, acting for you, and for the nation. So there's so many angles that we have to look at why this system is not working. And what about we, the electorate, the average Nigerian voters? Do we know our duties and responsibility as a voter, as Nigerians? Or you think it all ends in voting and declaration of result, and then you go back to sleep? As a Nigerian, earlier on I talked about our duties and responsibilities. I talk about our expectations, and I forgot to even say, for instance, as a citizen too, when elections are being done, do you normally participate, or you prefer to sit on the fence and say, I hate politics? Whether you like it or not, human beings are political. Consciously or unconsciously, you are involved in politics because the decisions that is taken is political, and then it affects your economic life, it affects your cultural life, it affects your social life, it affects your religious rights, and so many other things. So, hey, Nigerians, do not hate politics. Get involved and then participate, and then also contribute towards making politics work, because it is the only tool that human societies are organized globally, not just in Nigeria.
Right, Justice, let's bring it back home in the sense that let's bring it down to every common man. Okay, at the moment, there's socio-economic hardship that is being posed by some unpopular policies at the moment. Would you blame this on democracy or democratic driver?
Democracy itself is a process. It is a platform where policies, I believe, can be easily put into implementation.
Okay.
So democracy provides a platform. So it's like somebody traveling to a particular destination, and then he has options of trekking, he has options of boarding a taxi, he has options of taking a flight or going by train. The taxi could take you to your destination, but there are other things that you need to do. So democracy provides a platform for national objectives to be achieved. Blaming democracy, I think the question should be, in what ways have we utilized the utility value of democracy in itself? So, for instance, when they say one man, one vote, have we really been doing that? When they say independence of the judiciary, has our judiciary been independent? When, for instance, we say freedom of the press, how free is the press? In Nigeria, we have heard of stories of certain media houses being closed down because of perceived political enemies. In what way or ways has the press in Nigeria been free? We talk about other issues such as fundamental human rights. Democracy is saying, if you want me, these are the things you must do to show that you want me. So democracy cannot operate itself. It is operated by individuals. It is operated by organizations. It is operated by countries. So such countries that claim to be democratic or that wants democracy, are they ready to really implement what democracy is preaching? It's like when you say you believe in God and God is saying thou shalt not kill, yet you went on killing. So do you blame God for that? No, you don't. You blame yourself, and the fault is yours, because what you claim you are is not what you are really in terms of practice and then realities of life. So this democracy is something that people like talking about. People like to claim they're into it. But when they are told that this is what the system preaches, this is what the system is saying, sometimes they want to compromise.
Okay, we just have 2 minutes to get done with this segment. I would want you to establish, what do you know, how do you feel is the situation with Nigerians at the moment? I just want to talk about hardship, just what you think it is with people.
Well, a lot of things are ongoing, like you rightly say. There were high hopes so many years ago, and gradually, because of certain policies and programs, there are some prescriptions that have been given by some agencies, some bodies, some global bodies and international organizations such as the IMF and World Bank. For instance, they talk about removal of subsidy, they talk about a lot of economic reforms, and they talk about other issues. When you operate as a medical doctor and you operate a patient, and then the surgery you say was successful, and then but that the patient later died, is it not funny? That the surgery was successful, but that the patient later died. So I think the essence of every operation medically is that the patient will survive, not that the operation will be successful and that the patient will die. So the situation, there is truly, this needs to be said, that there is untold hardship in the land. There is poverty, there is want, there is insecurity, boundary issues, poverty, a lot of stories of corruptions here and there, and it's making people to begin to feel, is this democracy really meant for us, or is it meant for other people?
All right, thank you very much. Justice Chinge Dodo. It's 9 o'clock. Our listener and our viewer, do stay tuned. We'll be right back. When we come back, it's going to be your segment to call in and throw your input. Thank you very much, and stay tuned.
It's good to see you again. It's been so long since you've been here. You had me thinking you were dead. How's your taxpayer mansion? How was your...
Please pay attention. It starts from the foundation. Everybody needs somebody. You turn a blind eye and care nothing less. Say it's just business, all about the money. You are so unbothered as long as they pay. Say it's just business, all about the money. You know they're on a fast lane, but you've got business to run. So you look away the other way.
It concerns you. It kill law, it kill dreams. It land people for jail. War against drug abuse.
Are you bored and need some company? Get a TV experience like no other on Unity TV. We are turning up the hits with captivating TV shows, electrifying political programs, music, movies, and lots more that will leave you craving. I'm sure you want to know more. Tune in to Unity TV today and let the excitement take over.
Mr. Politician, it's good to see you again. It's been so long since you've been here. You had me.
The Unity 93.3 FM. Don't forget, today is Thursday, the 5th of October 2023, and in the studio this morning, it has been Mr. Justice Chinge Dodo, and we've been looking at Nigeria at 63 way forward. That is it. And so this is your time for you to now join us. But before you do, I would love to say that don't skip stages, because life has a way of bringing back the very stage that you skip. I got this from Professor Bavana H. Bamayi yesterday at the University of Jos. And thank you so much. If you want to be a part of it, the line to join remains the same. Those of you with us on TV, you can get that down the screen. But those of you listening on radio, the line is 070-3235-3315. Before I put on the studio line, you can also join us live on Facebook page, and that has to do with Unity Radio FM/TV. Just you be live with us. Throw your comment. If you want to send in an SMS, go 0808-478-9999. 0808-478-9 in 4 places for SMS. I do hope in due time I will read all of your comments. Okay, before I go on, let me take this. You need to know also this popular program by our very own people, the Igbo community, always on Thursdays. Ojemba on Thursdays, led by Extravagant Malobi. The program is now rescheduled for 3:30 p.m. to 4:30 p.m. every Thursday, and not 4:30 to 5:30 p.m. as earlier announced. So you can tune on Unity 93.3 FM at 3:30, and you listen all the way to 4:30 p.m. And thank you for being there. At this point, the studio line is all yours. You can call us and let's hear from you. Before we begin to receive our calls, any way forward, looking at Nigeria at 63, Mr. Chinge Dodo.
Yeah, first, the people who continually do one thing without getting positive results must sit down and ask themselves what is wrong. And then you change formula if the tactics is not working. The task of nation building is collective. It is demanded from leaders, and it is also demanded from the followers. In other words, if leaders are righteous and followers are not, you still have problem, and the opposite is also true. So there is seriously an issue of leadership problem in this country. Leadership is not that responsive and responsible to the yearnings and aspirations of the people. So to Nigerian leaders, they must wake up and then deliberately redouble their efforts towards ensuring quality leadership where egalitarianism, justice, equity, progress, development, welfare will be actually the watchword. People are tired of hearing words, phrases such as good governance, words such as democracy, or phrases such as free and fair elections. They want to have food. They want to be able to afford to pay light bill. They want to see water flowing in their taps. They want to see the roads being fixed. They want to go, if they're sick, they want to go to hospital, be able to be seen by a medical doctor. They want to have drugs, and then they should be able to afford such drugs. And to also the followers, it is not all about blaming leaders. You that blames the leader, how well have you been responsible? Are you doing your duties as a citizen? And then collectively, it will look at the aspect or the perspective, or look at the Nigerian problem or challenges from the perspective of leadership versus followership perspective. It will give us the impetus to be able to address the issues. because I think the Almighty God. Sometimes when you ask me to pray for this country, I say, what for? Because Nigeria already is blessed. This same God that you are asking him to do things, he has already done it. So the expectations is from us, the followers and the leaders. So first, to set the ball rolling, sir, we need qualitative leadership and genuine followership. If you merge these two together, we'll begin to attack the economic problems that I talk about. We'll begin to attack the political problems. We'll begin to resolve the technological, scientific, cultural, and social problems, security issues that are bedeviling us.
Okay, sometimes if you ask Justice to pray for the country, he wonders what really to pray about, because he feels that virtually everything that we need as a country, God has provided. And so it's not so much just praying, and the people need, every one of us has to, come together and see what we can do to make our country that great, that by resources and other means is already endowed. And so thank you. Now let's begin to pick our calls. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Oh, thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you very much. My name is Sadiq Umar. I'm calling from CGNC Junction.
Sadiq Umar, you have a minute, please. It's good to have you already.
Yeah, I will comment your guests. You have spoken very, very well, and you have raised a lot of issues, especially the policy that have brought us into this hardship that we are facing. You see, in Nigeria as history, we cannot say that we have celebrated a lot under democracy, because when we compare at this 63, the leadership of democracy and of the other military rule, the comparison is different. Most of the development, the refinery that we have experienced under the military rule. So when we look at the democracy, you see the policy under democracy actually is very, very costly. That's number one. And also, it's like in terms of godfatherism. So you see, the child of the poor cannot be somebody in the future. See how the system is going on. So I think Nigerians have to change the system. Our democracy, if this democracy is not paying, I think we should use another system of governance. Because most of the countries that develop, it's not that they develop through democracy.
Okay.
So you see, we have to think in terms of a cost of governance that we have built, because that's the problem Nigeria has faced. You see, the cost of governance, a teacher that's supposed to be taken care of is more salary. But you see that a senator or a commissioner or any political post with secondary certificate or even a diploma with any millions of naira.
Thank you very much.
Supposed to do like that. Thank you very much.
Thank you for making your point, Sadiq Umar. I have this one from Facebook page. It's coming from Mukadas Kanu. He's saying, good morning, watching you live from Gumawa, Gabas, Kano State. Oh, it's good to know that you're watching us. Thank you for doing that. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, Shirye.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, this is Pastor Henry J.J. known as Young T of Doncaster.
Pastor Young T, thank you so much for calling. Let's have your view.
I have to applaud your guest. He has spoken exceptionally well. There's no two ways about it.
All right.
Due to considering his antecedent and pedigree, I know that he is very good for the topic of this course. And democracy is said to be the best kind of government to practice, because it gives the citizenry opportunity to share their views on local, state, and national issues.
All right.
But I wonder the kind of democracy we practice in Nigeria, that the will of the people cannot be allowed to it's very unfortunate.
All right.
And there is an adage that says, the fool has fought is fool forever. And Nigeria is celebrating 63 years anniversary. And does that make Nigeria a fool simply because we have leaders who does not think about their citizens?
Okay. Thank you.
Democracy, like I said, is the best government to practice. And we have been emulating that from the U.S. You understand? And then are we emulating them as we ought to? These are some of the things that we need to ask ourselves.
Thank you very much, Pastor Henry.
Have the people at heart. Whenever the leaders do the right thing, the followership will not have a problem, because the We can't tell the followership at the lower level to do the right thing. Why them at the top, they are not doing the right thing? We can't just get it right.
You're right.
It has to start from the top. And
we
then
appreciate, Doro.
What am I trying to say? I'm not trying to say that the people doesn't have a role to play. Everybody has a role to play in order to have a better society, a better country that all will be happy to have. So I think when we do that, it will help us. You have a blessed day.
Thank you very much, Henry, Pastor Henry. This one is coming from Abdullahi Rocky Boy Ismail. I want to believe, Peace Ambassador, say good mornings to you, Shaibu Duru and Kulbi. Keep doing your best. We'll do our best. Thank you. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, my brother.
Oh, thank you very much.
Jude,
it's good to have you. So happy. So you have me.
My brother, see, what I want to advise people that is calling. Many people want to call. There is not a classroom for you to lecture or whatever.
Okay, thank you.
One or two things, so the others will continue.
Thank you very much. I appreciate.
So, what I have this one is that please, I'm just begging the government of today. Let the masses are suffering. That's my most important thing that I want to. The thing that I want to give the government of today. We follow good education, good health, security free. What are we witnessing today? Please let them do the needful.
Thank you.
And the chief assistant of the president, let the law take its course.
All right.
God bless you, my brother.
Thank you very much, Sir Jude, calling us there. This one is from, it says, Eats Amar. Say, good morning, Nigerians. Good morning, Shaibu and Cool B. Thank you, Amar. Hello, good morning. Hello.
Good morning, Cool B.
Oh, thank you. Now, who they do us?
Now, who they do us your call from coming up.
All right.
You see, your guests are speaking well, but what I want to say is not this. You see, when you see something, say something.
Yes.
When you see something, Nigeria say something, it becomes a problem to you. How many times have I been making about saying something about this now they are all starting taking one way. From all the railway gate here, the time that they take away. When you talk to them, they will start abusing you. That's number one. Then number two,
yes.
Today is World Teacher's Day.
Yes.
How do we treat our teacher? A teacher that teaches you from when you don't know anything, she start teaching you till you learn, become senator. How much are they paying using teachers in Nigeria? Peanuts. No special private schools that I've been so wicked. I call them wicked because you say a teacher, a private teacher, you pay teacher peanuts, and you are receiving billions of money into your account. And the teacher you are teaching, that they are teaching the children, you are paying them peanuts. You know that in Dubai, it's teachers that are the highest people receiving more salary, more than their teenagers. In Dubai, the doctors, the nurses, they are the ones that are receiving higher salary, more than the so-called Senate and the so-called House of Assembly and all the lawmakers in Nigeria.
Thank you.
You know, now, I'm talking about issue of Atiku and Tinubu. Do you know that Atiku, what Atiku is saying now, if they do not follow this constitution well, tomorrow, they are planting immorality in this country. Because tomorrow, if we support, look at during the other administration, we are in all the home service on Nigeria.
Thank you very much.
We are Tinubu come now. What they are expecting? And people are shouting that Tinubu have do this, Tinubu have do that. What do you expect Tinubu to do? When we are doing this, what do you say? Now Tinubu have started doing with that first result.
Yes.
Tomorrow another person will start with the first result. What are people going to say? This is my own contribution this moment. God bless this country in Nigeria.
Thank you and amen. Yes, I want to emphasize on the fact that he would always call us concerning reckless driving and in terminals here in the city of Jos. And he would always call. It's surprising that up to now, nothing is being done about that. The last time, one of the times he called, the very day he called in the morning and in the afternoon, a terrible accident took place there. And so let's be proactive before anything goes wrong again and again, especially when people call to address such issues. Please, let the relevant authority do the needful urgently. Thank you. This one is coming from Aminu Abdullahi Shuaibu is saying, good morning, Kulbi and Shuaibu Doro. I am watching you live from British American Junctions, and I wish you best of luck for educating people you are doing. We're doing a great job, and that's what you say. We appreciate you, Aminu Abdullahi Shuaibu. Hello, good morning.
Good morning, good morning, Mr. Doro, and the guests in the house.
Go on, you have a minute, please.
This is Yakubu Sali calling from Nepal.
Yakubu Sali, thank you.
I want to congratulate Nigerians for experiencing this 3 years of democracy.
Okay.
Of independence, sorry.
Yes.
And for me to congratulate teachers because it's working.
Yes.
Thank you.
Mm.
So honestly, we achieved a lot and we are facing more than enough challenges.
All right.
So as Nigeria specifically, honestly speaking, we thank God we have not experienced anything like earthquake and what is happening in foreign countries.
That is why Mr. Justice will say, I don't want to pray.
Is facing problem. If yesterday see what happened in Katsina.
Yes.
And it's even discouraging us from going to school. Nigeria as a city, some teachers have not been paid for 4 months.
At 63.
Nigeria as a city, we celebrated independence and we are facing multidimensional problems. So if our leader will go through the problem and make sure that they find a solution, I think it is better for us. Because some people are saying teachers' reward are in the heaven, and their own reward is here.
Thank
if
you.
I say if their own reward is in the hell, then they will say I use my words are somehow. So we want everybody to make the heaven, because without the teacher you will not be where you are now.
Thank you very much.
Without the teacher, I will not call you, will not communicate, and you understand what I'm saying.
Thank
so
you.
Please, I think, and in Nigeria, security could be.
Yes.
They say they are going to people palliative, and most of us, we have not seen anything.
Thank you
and
very much.
if they say they are increasing 35,000 for civil servants, how many are we in Nigeria? We are more than 220 million. And how many people are civil servants? What about the rest?
Yakubu, we appreciate. Thank you
at
so
least
much.
something needs to be done so that at least by next year, 2024, we celebrate Nigeria as 67.
All right. Thank
Our
you.
64, sorry.
Thank you.
And
It's
we
all right.
celebrate our independence.
All right. You're welcome.
As well as expected. Thank you. God bless you. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much. Mutalaya Hayama Igia from our Facebook page says, good morning to you all. Cool B. And Rabiu Usman, good morning, Uncle B, Mr. Doro, and the guests in the house. We appreciate the good work that you are doing for enlightening us. Kudos to you. May Almighty Allah reward you abundantly. I say amen to that, and thank you so much for also being there to throw in your comments. At this point, let's see what we have also as SMS. This one is saying, oh, I don't know. It's a barrister could be. I'm not a barrister. Well, thank you anyway. Barrister could be. I pray to God to protect your value, enhance your loyalty, bless you with patience, improve your understanding. Amen. Life brings tears, smiles, and memories. The tears dry out, the smiles fade, but the memories last forever. May Allah bless us with a fulfillment of our dreams, everlasting peace and protections. Hassan Garba, thank you so much. A wonderful one there. And I also have this one. It's saying, good morning, Unity. I beg on our government and our securities to be law keepers so that the common man will not be a lawbreaker. Appreciate your guest, Theophilus Genta Mangoro. Oh, thank you, Theophilus. They are former vice youth leader at Genta. Now, this one is coming saying Nigerian independence is sure, but the independence of Nigeria's fluctuates. Is what is sympathetic. Malawi. Marabu from Basa. Oh, thank you, the man from Basa there. And this one is saying, good morning, Kubi, Mr. Doro, and the guest. Kudos to the guest. 63 years after independence, we have little or nothing to celebrate. The country is lagging behind in every sector, and we are headed to a failed state. Majority of the citizens are homeless, angry and insecure because of the banditry, kidnapping, and insurgency. It's time our leaders reflect on the problems of Nigeria and do the needful. We, the followers, should also be patriotic Peace is priceless. Let's live in peace. God bless Unity FM and Nigeria. Christy Izang from Rukubaro. Thank you, Christy Izang, Peace Ambassador there. Yes, hello, good morning. Oh, thank you very much. You may be our last caller.
Good morning, sir. And the guest in the studio.
You may be our last caller, and it's good to have you. Good morning.
This is Adeyemi calling from Gokiro.
Oh, mine. Amen. Already.
God will continue to bless you people.
Amen.
You see, my faith this morning is to celebrate Nigeria at 63.
All right.
Give God the glory for the gift of life.
Mm-hmm.
But you see, in this nation, a leader that will desire to take Nigeria to the promised land, that's what we are praying for. Because a lot of leaders have come and gone. But promises have been made and a lot of projects have been put. A lot of priority has been tried to put more than 10 projects and even one, sometimes never been achieved. So we always pray to have the desire that will take Nigeria to the higher ground.
Thank you.
Because presently, Nigeria are going through a lot. And my major final take is this. Please, under this democratic system of government, please, let the
Adeomi? Oh, I think we lost Adeomi. And on this, I apologize, we may not be able to pick any more calls. We just let Justice Chinge Dodo, of course, to respond.
Yeah, I think I am encouraged by the quality of contributions that have been sent by callers and viewers. It goes to show that Nigerians really are interested. Nigerians are watching. Nigerians are concerned. Nigerians are feeling the hardship. Nigerians want the Nigerian project to succeed. The calls ranges from suggestions to complaints and to the fact that attention is being drawn that the government should do certain things in some certain concerns. People have called to complain about poverty, which is visible. It is abject poverty that is really in place in Nigeria today. People have called to register concern for how teachers are treated. These are people who are responsible for molding characters. And because of some insensitivity that the government in the past have shown and are still showing on the educational sector, it has led to the multiplication or establishment of mushroom private schools. You see a school without space, and yet they have sports wears. You know, school education now has been turned into mere business. It is a commercial activity now instead of services that is meant to mold characters. A lot of terrible things are happening in the educational sector, which is leading, like I said before, establishment of terrible schools, all in the name of providing education. And in terms of basic amenities, we have seen a situation where most communities, even within the city centers, will be ration power. Maybe you have your turn for 2 hours, another section has turn for 2 hours, even after investing millions of naira in the power sector project. And you also have a situation where the political leadership are also blamed. We have complained here and there, and so it's also time maybe there is need for some political reforms. If certain requirements are needed to be employed in the civil service, if certain requirements are needed to have you employed as a teacher, to have you employed as a medical doctor, to have you employed as an engineer, why is it that it seems to be free for all when it comes to elective offices, that anybody can come and then contest? And then it is also a big challenge to those who are also qualified, because they say a society gets rotten, a society gets to its worst form when good people refuse to participate in the decision-making process. And in this time around, I think it is the politics that we're talking about. Nigerians who are morally upright, who are righteous. Do not just concentrate your righteousness only on mosque activities or church activities or your religious activities. Make an attempt by also expanding this your righteousness horizon to bear in the body politic, because I tell you, leadership needs righteous people. Leadership needs people who are upright, people who are forthright, people who are visionary, people who want something for the good of all. So Nigeria's problem is that, like we have seen from the callers, is so enormous, is so taxing. But I think we are smart, we are intelligent, we are ready and then we should all join hands to build this a country that will be the envy of all.
Yes, we should all join hands to build this country to make it an envy of all. I want to celebrate the following people: Dr. Devo Francis, Dr. Dashe Nendrima, Dr. Herakand Moses, Dr. Monday Lisa, Dr. Isaac Joy, Dr. Nguket Domshak, Dr. Oregund Gloria, Dr. Wika Ninkima Paul, Dr. Gyang Jeremiah, Dr. Magaji Agwam, Dr. Chomo Jerry Ja, and Dr. Dabo Benjamin, and also Dr. Mandend Tangpand Elia. Yes, of course, these were the doctors. Yesterday we had their second of taking an induction ceremony at the University of Jos. And thank you so much, Professor Pavenov H. Bamayi, for taking the lead on that. Of course, don't forget, again, your one and only Igbo program, Ojemba Extravagantly, presented by the popular extravagant Malobi. It comes your way every Thursday, and now it's been rescheduled for 3 to 4 p.m. every Thursday, not 4 to 5:30 p.m. So I beg that you tune and then have the base of a community broadcast. And thank you so much, everyone, for making it possible for us to have today's edition. Tomorrow is going to be the last day. We appreciate you for calling. This is the end of it. From me, Beatrice Adamwiji, till we meet again. Stay tuned.
Window of your fancy car, your fancy car. Turn on the AC of your fancy car, your fancy car. Politician, it's good to see you again. It's been so long since you've been here. You had me thinking you were dead. How's your taxpayer mansion? How was your...
Please pay attention. It starts from the foundation.